Here are the latest features added to Metro Mapmaker version 7, which I'm planning to release on November 9th. There's a lot of great features that I hope you'll like, many of them requested by Metro Mapmaker users like you. Version 6, released in April, added the ability to choose a different width for your map's lines, but all lines in your map had to be the same width in version 6. But with version 7, you can mix and match line widths within the same map. Using a different line width could be a great way to show different types of transit alongside one another, like a streetcar or an important bus line alongside the metro. Or here in this example, I'm doing the purple line in Maryland. You can cycle through different line widths with the keyboard shortcut W, or you can click the button for your choice. I've also added 5 new line styles. Previously, only solid lines were available. Now, in addition to solid lines, you can use dashed lines, 2 different styles of densely packed lines, and 2 styles of dotted lines. While many of these look similar, I think they're distinct enough to allow for lots of creativity. And you can mix and match these line styles with your line widths for a total of 30 different possible combinations. You can cycle through different line styles with the keyboard shortcut Q, or you can click the button for your choice. A great way to use these different line styles would be to show a line that's under construction, or maybe a line that has different service on nights or weekends, or maybe an express line. I'm sure you'll think of some other uses too, and I look forward to seeing how creative you all get with your maps. You might wonder how all of these different line styles and widths work with flood fill. Flood fill will only match lines that have the same color, width, and style, all 3. So I can use flood fill to replace this solid line with the dotted line to show that it's under construction. By request, I've added 2 new station label orientations, above and below, both without any text rotation. I've also added a new way to make it easier to visually see how far apart your lines and stations are. The Show and Hide Grid button has been reworked to show XY coordinate numbers on the edges of your graph paper grid. It also shows a subtle, darker stroke on the graph paper grid every 3, 5, or 7 squares. By clicking the Show Grid button or using the keyboard shortcut H, you can toggle how many squares until the subtle, darker stroke appears. Here's 3 squares, 5 squares, 7 squares, or clicking it again turns the grid off entirely. Another feature is the ruler, which allows you to measure the spacing between 2 different points on your map and help you more evenly space your lines and stations. You can use the ruler in combination with the draw, erase, or station tools, or you can use it on its own. Here, I'm using the ruler in combination with the station tool in order to help evenly space my stations. So here I have 2 spaces between Van Ness and my next station, which is Tenleytown. And then I can do another 2 spaces between Tenleytown and Friendship Heights. And then if I overshot, I can see I have 3 spaces between Friendship Heights and Bethesda. Since I want 2 spaces instead, I know I need to click 1 space closer. If you're only measuring on the horizontal or vertical axis, you'll only see 1 number. If you're measuring a diagonal line, however, you'll see both x and y coordinate distances. The ruler button will also show you the x-y coordinates of your cursor. So as I move the cursor around, you can see the button shows the x-y coordinates of my cursor. Use the ruler button or keyboard shortcut R to turn the ruler on or off. By request, I've added a redo button. So if you accidentally undo a change or if you undo too far, you can always redo. Just be aware that if you make any other non-undo change, then the redo history will be cleared. Since I added redo, it made sense to add a redo button and to add a button for undo as well. You can still use Control Z for undo, and you can use Control Y for redo, and that's Command Z and Command Y on Mac. But you can also use the buttons if you prefer. These are the most important changes to Metro Mapmaker in version 7, but it's not everything. There are some bug fixes and some other changes too. You can read the full release notes linked in the description. I hope you like version 7. Looking ahead to version 7.1, I'd like to release a smaller set of changes based on your feedback, focusing on adding more station styles. Thanks for watching and happy map making. I look forward to seeing what you make.